The book of Jonah, chapter 1, verse 1, Jonah 1 and 1, Jonah, the first chapter and the first verse. Let me sit back here and move this microphone, microphone. All right, and go to Jonah 1 and 1. God calls and Jonah runs. The Lord spoke to Jonah, son of Amittai. Nineveh is a big city. I've heard about the many evil things the people are doing there. So go there and tell them to stop doing such evil things. But Jonah tried to run away from the Lord. He went to Joppa and found a boat that was going to the faraway city of Tarshish. Jonah paid money for the trip and went on the boat. He wanted to travel with the people on this boat to Tarshish and run away from the Lord, the great storm. But the Lord brought a great storm on the sea. The wind made the sea very rough. The storm was very strong and the boat was ready to break apart. The men wanted to make the boat lighter to stop it from sinking. So they began throwing cargo into the sea. The sailors were very afraid. Each man began praying to his God. Jonah had gone down into the boat to lie down, and he went to sleep. The captain of the boat saw Jonah and said, "Wake up. Why are you sleeping? Pray to your God. Maybe your God will hear your prayer and save us." What caused this storm? Then the men said to each other, "We should throw lots to find out why this is happening to us." So the men threw lots. The lot showed that the troubles came on them because of Jonah. Then the men said to Jonah, "It is your fault that this terrible thing is happening to us. Tell us what you have done. What is your job? Where do you come from? What is your country? Who are your people?" Jonah said to them, "I'm a Hebrew. I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the land and the sea." Jonah told the men he was running away from the Lord. The men became very afraid when they learned this. They asked Jonah, "What terrible thing did you do against your God?" The wind and the waves and the sea were becoming stronger and stronger. So the men said to Jonah, "What should we do to save ourselves? What should we do to make the sea calm?" Jonah said to the men, "I know I did wrong. That is why the storm came on the sea. So throw me into the sea and the sea will become calm." My Lord, throw me overboard. I got a hiding place. Instead, the men tried to row the ship back to the shore, but they couldn't do it. The wind and the waves of the sea were too strong, and they were becoming stronger and stronger. Jonah's punishment. So the men cried to the Lord, "Lord, please don't say we're guilty of killing an innocent man. Please don't make us die for killing him. We know you are the Lord, and you will do whatever you want." So the men threw Jonah into the sea. The storm stopped, and the sea became calm. When the men saw this, they began to fear and respect the Lord. They offered a sacrifice and made special promises to the Lord. When Jonah fell into the sea, the Lord chose a very big fish to swallow Jonah. He was in the stomach of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Jonah chapter 2, Jonah's prayer. While Jonah was in the stomach of the fish, he prayed to the Lord his God. He said, "I was in very bad trouble. I called to the Lord for help, and he answered me. I was deep in the grave. I cried to you, and you heard my voice. You threw me into the sea." No, you the one made that suggestion. Why are you putting that on the Lord? You threw me into the sea. Your powerful waves splashed over me. I went down, down into the deep sea. Now you're going to sit up here and lie on the Lord. The water was all around me. Then I thought, now I must go where you cannot see me. But I continued looking to your holy temple for help. The seawater closed over me. The water covered my mouth, and I could not breathe. I went down, down into the deep sea. Seaweed wrapped around my head. I was at the bottom of the sea, the place where the mountains begin. I thought I was locked in this prison forever, but the Lord my God took me out of my grave. God, you gave me life again. My soul gave up all hope, but then I remembered the Lord. I prayed to you, and you heard my prayers in your holy temple. Some people worship useless idols, but those statues never help them. I will give sacrifices to you, and I will praise and thank you. I will make special promises to you, and I will do what I promise. Salvation only comes from the Lord. Then the Lord spoke to the fish, and it vomited Jonah out of its stomach onto the dry land. Jonah chapter 3. God calls and Jonah obeys. Then the Lord spoke to Jonah and said, "Go to that big city, Nineveh, and say what I tell you." He spoke to him again. So Jonah obeyed the Lord and went to Nineveh. It was a very large city. A person had to walk for 3 days to travel through it. Jonah went to the center of the city and began speaking to the people. He said, "After 40 days, Nineveh will be destroyed." The people of Nineveh believed God. They decided to stop eating for a time to think about their sins. They put on special clothes to show they were sorry. All the people in the city did this, from the most important to the least important. When the king of Nineveh heard about this, he left his throne, removed his robe, put on special clothes to show that he was sorry, and sat in ashes. The king wrote a special message and sent it throughout the city. a command from the king and his great rulers. For a time, no person or animal should eat anything. No herd or flock will be allowed in the fields. Nothing living in Nineveh will eat or drink water. But every person and every animal must be covered with a special cloth to show that they are sad. People must cry loudly to God. Everyone must change their life and stop doing bad things. Who knows? Maybe God will stop being angry and change his mind, and we will not be punished. God saw what the people did. He saw they stopped doing evil. So God changed his mind and did not do what he planned. He did not punish the people. Jonah chapter 4. God's mercy makes Jonah angry. Jonah was not happy that God saved the city. Jonah became angry. He complained to the Lord and said, Lord, I knew this was happening. I was in my own country and you told me to come here. Now, this is the second time you done talked to the Lord like this. At that time, I knew that you would forgive the people of this evil city. So I decided to run away to Tarshish. I knew that you are a kind God. I knew that you show mercy and don't want to punish people. I knew that, I knew that you were kind. And if these people stopped sinning, you would change your plans to destroy them. So now, Lord, just kill me. It's better for me to die than to live. Spoiled brat. Then the Lord said, do you think it is right for you to be angry? Jonah went out of the city to a place near the city on the east side. He made a shelter for himself and sat there in the shade, waiting to see what would happen to the city, the gourd and the worm. The Lord made a gourd plant grow quickly over Jonah. This made a cool place for Jonah to sit and helped him to be more comfortable. He was very happy because of this plant. The next morning, God sent a worm to eat part of the plant. The worm began eating the plant, and the plant died. After the sun was high in the sky, God caused a hot east wind to blow. The sun became very hot on Jonah's head, and he became very weak. He asked God to let him die. He said, it's better for me to die than to live. Terrible attitude. But God said to Jonah, do you think it is right for you to be angry just because this plant died? Jonah answered, yes, it is right for me to be angry. I am angry enough to die. Ooh, you arrogant thing. My goodness. It's a wonder the Lord didn't strike you down. And the Lord said, you did nothing for that plant. You did not make it grow. It grew up in the night, and the next day it died. And now you're sad about it? If you can get upset over a plant, surely I can feel sorry for a big city like Nineveh. There are many people and animals in that city. There's more than 120,000 people there now who did not know they were doing wrong. And that's how the story ends. We don't hear what happened with Jonah and his nasty attitude. Put in the comment section what you think happened. Put that in the comment section. What do you think happened after this episode between Jonah and God? You would think that the main focus would be the people repenting, but it looks like the ending focus is Jonah's terrible attitude. What do you think happened? Put it in the comment section. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you follow if you're not already following. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit that arrow at the bottom of the screen and share this video. But in the comment section, put in the comments what you think happened after this story ended. What happened to Jonah? What happened to his attitude? Put that in the comment section.